Okay, we're live.
To die alone. There's a lot happening.
Mm-hmm.
How do you know what's going on?
Oh, we gotta get this one going and then we'll know. So that's that. So now we know that. Now we know this. Now we go like this. And then now we see everything. So chat there, chat there, chat there.
What's this one? Instagram? What's this one?
Facebook and YouTube.
And then TikTok.
And then the tickety tokes.
Hi, Janelle.
Janelle. April.
Hello. Hi.
People have been asking when we're going to do a seance again.
Well, you know.
It was the meat that went bad.
It was the meat that went bad. Do you mind?
You think backwards or forwards?
Backwards.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a
Do you mind if I
surprising
doodle?
answer. I mean,
Okay, bro.
no, it's fine. I mean, it's just my work thing. Here, I'll give you a different one to doodle on.
Love me some Chipotle. Yes, except we haven't gotten to eat it yet. What happened? Oh my. Sorry.
You gotta be careful. How's my mouth, ladies and gentlemen?
I can doodle on this?
Happy birthday. Happy birthday to who?
Who? Where?
Is it your birthday, JB Coco? Why am I so in the dark?
Well,
I turn the light up.
Sure. I don't care. My face is red because we just worked out.
My birthday already passed.
Yep. His birthday just passed and mine isn't for a couple more months.
Just passed. We're in July. Tomorrow's July.
3 months ago. Yes, Cancer.
Buttons. Just open TikToks and here we were.
Good evening, Angie.
I'm a Pisces. I'm a little Pisces. To the day. What the hell, to the?
To the?
That's her name.
Where?
Shelly. Shelly to the day.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, your birthday's July 14th? That's a happy birthday.
Oh,
for
soon.
You.
2 weeks.
My birthday's March 5th.
Oh, Janelle's was last week. Happy belated birthday.
Happy belated
I hope that it was
birthday.
wonderful and
Hi, Angie.
amazing.
I started skipping birthdays. April, you're literally younger than me, bro. You're literally younger than me.
March 19th. Is that Pisces?
Yes, it is. Ooh, no. I think it's just into... No, Aries is the 20th. It's very cuspy. I'm not actually clear.
Cuspy.
It's very cuspy. Oh, there's the mama bird. Look, she's going to feed her babies. See them poking their heads up? Hold on, she's about to stuff it, but she's making sure it's safe. And then, see they're like reaching up, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Give them a second. They're like, come on, feed him. Maybe she's coming home for the night. There's a hummingbird who laid a nest right outside my door. I don't know what she's doing. She's probably looking at us. She said, knowing me, knowing you, there is nothing we can do. CLP says, I'm definitely a Pisces. Yeah, that's Pisces for sure. I think she's just resting now.
Yeah, maybe she just came back.
She just came back to chill. Normally she comes back and stuffs her little faces.
Maybe she couldn't find anything.
She eats bugs and nectar, and then she throws it up in their mouths.
Thank you.
Like a little slushy.
Thank you, because I didn't know how that worked.
There she goes. Look. See him?
Oh, yeah.
Aww. She said,
Michael. Stop.
What's on tonight's topic tonight? We are gonna say hi, and if we feel so inspired by the spirit, we will give a rating. And that's so cute.
Yes.
Aww.
Does she do them evenly?
Mm-hmm.
Does she know?
Yeah, she knows. Look, there she goes. She fed him, and now she's like, bye. Like she's just checking, make sure it's safe. And she goes.
Whoa. She's so close. Why is she so close?
She's just making sure it's safe before she leaves. Because she could see us.
Katrina said, you guys are posed for a portrait. Someone that this would make a great prom photo.
What were we doing?
We said-
Looking up.
In awe. Like
both
one
said-
of those
we both
80s
said-
photos. We both said. Oh my god, that's hilarious.
We were watching nature take its course
No, that was beautiful. And she got so close too.
to the window.
Yeah, we can see the baby's beaks, like their little heads like popping up.
It's very cute. Yeah, we can see their little heads pop up. I really want to take a picture, but I figure I don't want to disturb it over the mom or the babies. So
So what do we want to talk about?
let's talk about baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things. Where are you going?
I'll go home
Why'd you look over there like you looked at something?
because I was gonna leave.
You're looking for a place to
I
go?
was looking for the exit. That's correct.
I'm going to find you an exit. Okay? How about that? April, I thought that in my head.
To the window, to the wall, to the wall, to the drop down my all them crawl. I don't want to get banana.
Yeah, please, because also I don't want to either. And she said, not you censoring sweat.
That just happened.
Yeah.
I just felt preemptively I should.
Yeah, we don't want to give too much away. Oh, who wrote that? Joshua, of course it's Josh.
I just see the star.
Yeah. Thanks, Josh.
Okay.
Do you want me to be in the front or do you want to be in the front? Which is better? This?
I don't care.
This? Or this?
This is better.
Okay, that's inappropriate for the work environment. Is this better? Wiggity whack.
What the fuck?
Album cover.
Where's HR? I'm HR.
I am HR. Hillary Rodham.
What?
It's 80s. Oh. Hey, now I'm like,
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
why does this look like a painting? Like someone tried to paint my hair on, but like it ran a little bit.
Someone tried to paint your hair.
Are you guys together? Well, physically, yes. We are physically next to each other.
Hi, Dana.
What up, Dana?
Nor we are just best friends.
No, we're just
Which one is the guy?
obviously. She's you know.
No need to apologize. We get that all the time. But it reminds me of that meme that goes around that it's like, are you even besties if you haven't had dating allegations?
True. No, my actual boyfriend is over in the other room.
He's playing the new Nintendo Switch. Which Kendall got too, by the way.
Oh, she did?
Mhm.
Why did she do that?
I don't know. Just wanted it, I guess.
Love it. Oh, Janelle says boyfriend. Ooh.
Ooh.
I'd force him over here, but you know. He's hidden. Trying to keep him a secret. Hey Marley. It's Marley. I believe it's called free will, Michael. Not if I'm involved. Hello, Tasha.
Hi, Olivia.
Hi, Olivia.
Yeah, he's under the floorboards.
Hello, I'm excited to read the Spirit Speaks book. I just started checking out the chapters last night. I'm so excited for you to read it. I'm so grateful that you got it. I hope that it's helpful. And of course, if you have any questions or anything like that, you can always reach out to me.
Megan!
OMG, my little Megan.
Sorry, I'm confirming my activity.
Angie says, Michael shared a little tea last live I saw.
Oh, yeah?
I must have. Raven says, love that book. 100% so helpful. I'm glad that you're reading. I was eyeing a cutie for months that I liked for you, bit not your type. But not your type. Yeah. Aww.
Hi, Hunt the Bush.
Megan says, it's a great book.
It is a
Where's
great
Hunt the
book.
Bush? Bring Hunt the Bush.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are going to see my Hunt the Bushy.
Oh, come here.
Sweet Hunt the
Oh,
Bush. Oh, he's a my boy. Hi, my boy.
hi,
Hi, my boy. You're so cute at the bushy. Oh.
Okay, I feel like we should do a reading.
Man, just like all quick like that?
Yeah, because
like...
I feel spirit.
Okay, do you want to start us off?
Well, maybe. Martin, I love your hair color.
Isn't it cute? Wait, you should take it down so they can really see it.
You guys haven't seen my new hair.
They haven't even seen it.
It's all like sweaty and gross right now because I just worked out. But hold on.
Yeah, maybe look in the mirror right there.
No, I don't care.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like inspired by Narcissa Malfoy. So as you guys know, well, those of you who do know, my hair was all like this blonde color. But then I was like, I kind of want a change. So now it's brown and blonde. Yeah, so it's blonde underneath, brown on top, and then I have these like, yeah, it's giving. Okay. It took me a while to get used to it though, because I was like, I've been blonde forever. Like, I've been regular blonde for like, I dyed my hair like brown when I was in like 7th grade or something. And I've been blonde forever. And then I've been like blonde for a couple years. And I was like, no, what have I done? And then it grew on me.
Quite literally, it grew. No, it looks great. I said from the very beginning, I said I loved it.
You did. And Megan wasn't sure. Megan was like,
Yeah, I was like, you're
no,
wrong.
and I was like, Megan, that's not helping. I'm literally gonna have a mental breakdown. I need to go back to blonde. I was my poor hairdresser. I was like, no, I'm gonna give it some time. Like, I just need to get used to it. And then like the next day, I was like, can we go back? Like, I'm not sure. And then like the next day, hold on, I got some compliments. Let me get like, she was like, honey, you're okay.
True. I want to answer this question really quick. Tanuki says, I was recently took a beginner's mediumship course and felt it was too advanced, didn't have much guidance in the actual experience of connecting, gathering info. I felt everyone else had experience already and was lost. I was debating signing up for your foundations course. Can you, Megan, have starting up? But was curious how much lecture versus practicum is there in the course? I practice. I'm mainly hoping to have instructors who I can ask questions and get guidance from as we are practicing. And will there be in the meeting call while we are all practicing? Yeah. So that's a great question. And I'm sorry that you had an experience that felt like less than ideal for you. So we are there. We are going through the rooms. We are helping you when you're confused, stuck. We also talk about it after it is a live class. So we are giving you information as we go. It is very hands-on as far as the instructors with the students as well. So if you were to sign up for that, that is definitely going to be helpful. Right now, that's a smaller class. So you definitely would get attention for sure. So I would definitely recommend signing up for it because we do give this class is built for students who have no experience. So if you felt like there were other people who are further along, we really hold everybody's hand to take them from I can do nothing to the next step, to the next step, to the next step. So it's very progressive and it is very, very helpful. and in my opinion, quite effective as well. So you would be in very, very good hands. I can guarantee that, and it would be good. Do you sit in the meeting rooms or come in once requested? We move through the rooms. If you are saying, hey, can you come watch me in this reading, we will definitely make sure that we come in, but you don't have to request it. We move through the rooms and watch how someone is doing behind the scenes. And if we see anyone struggling, then we will come in we'll start talking to you and coach you through whatever's going on. So when you guys are practicing, we are in and out of the rooms unless we see something that needs help right in that moment. Otherwise, we're just circling through the rooms, both Megan and myself, to make sure if you need anything, we're there for you. And you can always request too.
That's a good question from Crazy Husband. Hope you have a badass day, playa. Do ghosts lie sometimes?
Interesting.
Have thoughts?
Go ahead.
Okay, a couple things. I feel like first, obviously, I'm assuming you're referring to ghosts as departed loved one. If we're referring to ghosts as departed loved one, deceased loved one, I don't think they lie, because lie implies intention, and I think that just from what we know from recalled experiences of death, when people die, you witness experiences and you witness moments and you witness interactions with people through a greater lens of, one could say, truth. And so I feel like you only gain more information. It's not necessarily about like lying or being false. It's just about like gaining more perspective, more consciousness. And so like to lie implies an intention. And I just don't think like deceased loved ones have that kind of intention. I could see where they might withhold information, like in a reading, if you're like, please just tell me, like, like, is so-and-so gonna like die from something? I don't know, like just something that they may not want to share with you for reasons or something like that. Maybe withholding information, but I don't think that when you get to the other side, there necessarily is a such thing as lying. I would like to think of it more as truth and then more truth. It's like more of a gaining information rather than like truth and lying, if that makes sense.
I'm with you on that. I echo that sentiment for sure. Tanuki says, sweet, thank you so much. Also, her hair looks fabulous.
Who said that?
Tanuki, the one I was...
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
Angela says, I took Foundations 1 with them before, and Michael is 100. I had just started out. Amazing. Thank you, Angela.
Yeah, I'm obviously biased, but I definitely highly recommend Foundations 1 and Oak Bridge just in general. Michael and Megan, and anyone Michael and Megan recommend, honestly, like top-notch, like best of the best, most genuine, practical, evidential, spirit-connected teachers, like genuinely.
Thanks. You're a sweet one. You're a really sweet one.
It can also depend on what the medium interprets if it's a reading. Yeah, exactly. And also, too, I don't know if Crazy Husband was meaning this, but like I was kind of picturing, too, not what comes through necessarily from medium, but like the Ouija board or table, right? Like if the spirit is being like tricky and lying, like I just don't think that that's how information works on the other side. Because again, a lie implies intention, and
yeah, you can't laugh at him.
Sorry, I didn't know what that was, like what that sound was.
He doesn't have,
Hi, Giselle.
He doesn't have those parts anymore, so it makes a very loud sound when he pees.
Anyway, yeah, as I was saying, but yeah.
Do you guys have any recommendations of who to get a reading from in Ohio? Travis Sanders is in Ohio. I love Travis, so that's
I didn't know he was in Ohio.
Yeah, he's in Ohio. Travis Sanders, medium. And
if you're wanting virtual, there's definitely lots of good options too.
Yep. Megan Elisa, Michael Mayo, Dana Willie.
Danny Willie. Danny, what up, Danny? Dana Willie, and also any of the advancing students at Oak Bridge as well. I wanted to answer Raven because ghosts are different than loved ones, right? I think it's like just depending on how, like, what term you use: spirit, ghost, departed loved one, disincarnate. I think personally, just for like, I think people use ghosts like colloquially to be like, I feel like it's a different, like, I feel like using departed loved one or spirit is more accurate to like how they actually function in reality versus ghost. I just feel like because of the history and how it's used in pop culture and like stuff like that, it implies like disincarnate, like manifested spirit that's like stuck on the earthly realm or something like that, which I don't think is like accurate. If they can't lie, they're telling the truth forever. Like the afterlife is a snitch zone. I feel like the afterlife is, I'm trying to think of the right word, understanding zone. Like you just understand more. And like I said, I feel like if information is not being given to you, it's for a reason, which leads to greater understanding in the end. Because it's like, maybe it's something you have to experience on your own. Maybe it's something, a lesson you have to learn, like something like that.
Monami says, Michael Mayo's reading was amazing. Thank you, Monami. That's appreciated. Another person said, I also love Travis. He knew my IUD was causing my tummy aches. I struggled for a bit in the beginner mediumship class, the Foundations one, and in my personal life, and Michael and Megan really helped me through it all. Aww. I'm still a beginner mediumship, but it's easier for me to connect with other people's loved ones, not mine. Is it possible to connect with my own loved ones? Yes, it is possible to connect with your own loved ones. It's just that to get good at it, you usually need to practice with people that you don't know, because what happens is you have to learn the discernment between what's your thinking mind and what's not your thinking mind, and learn how to set aside your own thoughts, wants, and desires to be able to be neutral, and so that you can accurately experience your loved ones. Otherwise, it gets too hard to tell the blending between the what's your mind versus what's spirit. Also, I would say, as you learn to develop being neutral and just noticing what's a stimulus versus what's coming from your mind, then you just follow the stimulus, and that's it. You learn to get really good at just following stimulus, and that makes it a lot easier to discern your loved one versus your thinking mind. So that's really the biggest and hardest problem with connecting with your own loved ones, is just your sense of, is this my mind? Is this not my mind? Whereas if it's a loved one in spirit, it's a lot easier, or someone else's loved one in spirit, it's a lot easier because you don't know anything. So as the information is coming, you can trust it a lot easier. So yeah. And wondering if they're around is a mental process. What you want to learn to do is feel their essence, feel their presence. And that's what we teach in our Foundations 1 course, is how to feel for essence, feel for presence. And then that way it takes the guesswork out of your trying to figure out if it's your mind or if it's spirit. That's why at Oak Bridge we focus so much on feeling in Foundations 1, and then we add the other clairs into it. What else we got? You can't connect to your own, Raven. It's
very common.
It's very common, but honestly, folks, it's just that I think we have a sense that it's going to feel or look a certain way, and therefore we think we can't connect with them. But if you just treat it like you treat any other loved one in spirit, and you just sit and become still and invite them to step in and wait till you can feel their presence, you will feel your loved one. You will feel them come in. You just have to trust that that's them, and not try to go, well, is that them? Is that not them? Is that in doubt the whole time? You have to just feel their presence, remember what their essence feels like, and then just accept that that's what's happening.
Well, I feel like that's also partly why we seek out readings. I think partly because we want evidence that, I misspoke. I feel like it's partly why we seek out readings. I think part of it is that we feel like we can't connect ourselves, and so we have to go to someone that is more connected or has the ability or whatever. But then also partly because there is something like extra evidential when someone else brings the information through. I'm in school for therapy right now, so I just liken it to therapy. Like, it's not like all therapists start doing therapy on themselves. Like, it's not quite, it doesn't hit the same, right, as when you go to someone else. And I think, not that you can't connect with your loved ones, because of course you can, and they're more connected to you than anyone else. But I think it's just something about that process to our mental brain. It just is like, it hits different when someone else can bring your loved one through, because your mind is so involved in wanting to connect with your own loved one.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm curious of how many of you would ever be interested in anything to do with grief counseling, grief therapy. Well, I guess it'd be counseling. Grief therapy, that sort of thing. If anyone knows people that would benefit from that, because that's something we're eventually going to bring to Oak Bridge. Is
can I talk a little bit about it?
Yeah, sure can.
Sorry. Well, I want to really quick answer Lori. Could it be that grief plays a role too? Absolutely. I also recommend looking into it's called induced after death communication. There is a book on it. It's by Dr. Botkins. It's a type of grief therapy, actually, where they induce a connection with your loved one. It's not quite mediumship. They obviously don't market it as mediumship because it's therapy. It's grounded in research. But all of this just to say that the research shows that they have to get that grief level. So when people say my grief is at a 7, 8, 9, 10, they work on getting that grief number down. And then that's when the breakthrough happens, where they're able to feel that they're their own loved one. So, I mean, imagine already dealing with the mental faculty of desire, distraction, expectation, not to quote my teacher, but like mental processes, and like that already is hard enough getting out of the way. And then add in grief, right? Which is just like earth shattering, world turning, like pain, right? And loss. Of course, that's going to impact your experience. Like, absolutely. But I did want to talk about just a little bit about what Michael was saying about the grief and loss. So for those of you who don't know, I am currently in school to be a therapist right now. I actually start seeing clients as a student therapist next week. And my specialization, because in a past life, I have another master's in philosophy, where all my research was on near-death experiences, the philosophy of death and dying, consciousness, etc. So my sort of like loose specialty right now is grief and loss. I'm actually going to start a grief group for teens, ages 11 to 17. I'm going to start that in a month. So Michael was saying, obviously, once all my license, everything is like in order, once I become an associate, which would be a little less than a year from now, I can start doing maybe like death cafes, or grief and loss groups. Once I get trained in induced after death communication, because I'm going to do the therapist training for that, maybe offering that at Oak Bridge. So we just wanted to put out feelers, like if that would be something that people would be interested in at Oak Bridge.
Yeah, I see someone saying, I think it would be amazing. I had a lot of grief so close together. Other people are saying, congratulations, Miranda, it's needed. That sounds super cool. So yeah, I think that that's definitely something that people will want. And, you know, we definitely want to build out that sort of section of Oak Bridge.
And you know, it's funny, I just had my meeting this morning to go over what we're doing for our 12-week grief group. So we have 3 therapists. One's doing ages 5 to 10. I'm doing 11 to 17. And then we have someone doing 18 to 25. And my boss was telling me that they just put out feelers in Orange County, like South Orange County, and was like, would anybody be interested? Because they're offering it for free, because I'm working for a nonprofit. So they do a lot of discounted stuff, and they're offering it for free. And they said that the inquiry filled up so fast, and like, especially for the younger kids.
Wow.
And I was just like, oh my God. And that made me, you know, obviously I was a little nervous to lead the group because I'm new, but once I heard that, I was like, this is so needed. Like, you know, we don't even think about the children too. Like, we see adults here. It's obviously adults mostly on TikTok and signing up for mediumship classes and things like that. Like, we don't picture, 11, 12, 13-year-olds with that yearning to connect with their deceased loved ones too. And I just think that it's very needed. So obviously it would be amazing to be able to do something like that at Oak Bridge.
And you will. And you will.
Crazy Husband Random. Do those pass away? Do they have a thirst for something like we do, like water?
No. So those things all go with the body. The need for sleep and food and all those sorts of things, they go away with the body because that is a physical thing. Where our consciousness is non-physical, so it doesn't require that sort of thing. You want to think of this sort of as like if you were to think of like a satellite being broadcasting like some TV show or something like that. Your satellite might need repairs and it might need new wires and connection over time. But if you were to stop, that satellite breaks, you no longer have the broadcast being received somewhere. You don't need to still fix that thing anymore. That consciousness is now free to be picked up on some other station or satellite or something like that. So it doesn't require the physical maintenance because the consciousness is not related to the physicality. It's in a separate thing. It's a very needed modality. I love this, says Anne-Marie. You go, girl. So proud of you. Big inspiration from April. I work with kids as a therapist. I've had kiddos as young as 5 working with me on grief. So needed. Absolutely. I'm a counselor who facilitates groups for grief and loss. Amazing. So we even have people just in this little community that are already working in this field. My early 20s kiddos are far more aware of grief of their father now versus when little. Yeah, I can understand that.
I want to answer CLP's question. Are we happy when we leave our shell? Resounding yes. Can't speak from personal experience, but all the research shows that is one of the number one things that there can't be multiple number one things. So one of the main things that people report during an actual death experience is that they feel great elation and awe when they realize that they are not their bodies. They look down at their bodies and they're like, wait, I'm up here. I'm not that thing. This is incredible. I feel so free. I feel so light. I feel so me. I feel so connected. It's all like about that. And so, and also a lot of people, most people say that they don't want to come back when they have a death experience. So yeah, I would say we are happy because there's so much limitation and restriction that comes with our bodies, not only physically, but also mentally. Like Michael was saying, our consciousness has to filter through our brain, and our brain is part of our body, right? So like when we are no longer tethered to our body and brain in that way, it's like we experience fully. Actually, the number one most used word for people that have a death experience is love. And the second is ineffable because it's just so incredible. They can't even describe it in words. So yeah, short answer, yes, we're happy when we leave our shell.
I mean, I think they all say, I was met with a feeling of love that is not, there's no word to describe love. Even saying love in and of itself is too limiting to describe the level of peace and love that people experience when they leave their physical body.
We feel we are stuck. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what people say they feel. And again, not only physically, like if someone has an ailment or something like that, but mentally as well. Like, oh, I'm not that, I'm this, right? And like wherever they are and what they experience with their, I don't know if it's full spectrum of consciousness, but at least more spectrum than in our body. It's greater awareness, greater love, greater emotion, greater intuition. All of that's just greater. They don't want to go back to where it's less. And another thing, they also say that they experience everything way more vividly, more colors, more brighter, all of that sort of thing. So it's like, it really does feel like coming back into the body just dims kind of everything in the way.
Michael, can you explain how transmediumship what transmediumship is and how it works? Yes, transmediumship is a form of mediumship likened to mental mediumship, which is what you see most people doing, but it's just more surrender, more letting go, and the spirit is blending with your energy even more so that it feels almost as if they are either speaking through you or using more of your physicality, your awareness, that sort of thing. So it's like a dimmer switch. You're turning off more of your awareness, kind of going into more of a sleepier, detached state, and you're bringing in more of the consciousness of the spirit communicator who's communicating. Communicating. So, hey, don't do that. What are you stealing that for, bro? Sorry. And so that's all that's happening. It's just a deeper blending of this awareness. And it's this idea of the more of the spirit, the less of me, the more that the spirit communicator has control. And then they're able to bring through more accurate and specific information as they come through. There's different forms of trance mediumship. There's trance philosophy, which is speaking on different things, speaking on like spiritual insights and philosophical ideas. Then you have trance communication. That is where the spirit speaks directly through. So it's as if you're talking to your loved one. There's trance clairvoyance, where the spirit guide acts as a mediator between the spirit communicator and those here. So they're the ones doing the mediumship. So there's different kinds of trance. It's its own sort of section of mediumship. And something that takes time and energy and patience to develop, just like every other form of mediumship.
I want to just touch, since we just kind of spoke about that, but Crazy has been asking if, have you heard of spirits say, I'm glad I don't have to cook or go to the gym? So not specifically, but it's the same notion as what I was just saying. They recognize that all of the sort of mundane things don't matter. Like people, there's been longitudinal studies where people have measured people's psychological attributes after a near-death experience and all the way up to like 20, 30 years later. And it's shown that they are much less interested in like materialistic day-to-day things. And they're much more concerned with altruism, love, connection. A lot of them like switch their jobs and start going to like donating to charity and things like that. So I would say, like in a roundabout way, yes, they kind of say that.
Do you meditate daily? Is it guided? Does it help developing intuition? Yes. So I don't meditate daily anymore, but I used to meditate daily. I tried to sit in the power at least 4 times a week. But also, if I'm being really lazy, I'll sit in my home circle on Mondays or not Mondays, but on Tuesdays. And that is oftentimes enough to kind of keep me connected and that sort of thing. So at least making it a special time. But I also sit with other people whose power is very, very strong. So I think that also plays a role. But yes, I would recommend sitting in the power multiple times a week, because just sitting in meditation may support things, but it depends on what kind of meditation. If you're doing a guided meditation where it's asking you to, go down a dell and visualize this and do all these sorts of mental activity, then I don't think that's going to support you in your intuition development. That's creative visualization, and that's not really that useful for intuition development. If you're learning a type of meditation that tells you to quiet the thinking mind, learn how to surrender, learn how to feel, then that usually will support some sort of that. But otherwise, I'd recommend sitting in the power, which is a specific kind of meditation. So they talk through you verbally with your voice. Yes, that's what they would do. So if you've seen channeling, it's kind of like that. Yes, you're absolutely right. I've seen patients that I cannot explain. They are watching something and they're saying basically to me, I need to leave so that I can leave. Mm. Yep. Have a great night. Thank you again. You're welcome. Thanks, CLP.
Miranda, take on Schumann resonance frequencies. I'm not familiar with that. What is that? Do you know what that is?
Not really. I've heard Schumann resonance.
I've heard Schumann resonance. Let me do a quick Google.
Gotta Google. Oh, absolutely. My youngest was 14 years old when my mom passed, and 15 when my husband passed. We struggled being there. Deaths were so close. Yeah, I can understand that. That is very difficult.
Schumann resonance, SR, is a set of electromagnetic frequencies between 7.83 and 33 hertz that occur in the Earth's Sorry, I've worked out and not eaten. My brain is not working. That occur in the Earth's electromagnetic field. It is caused by lightning strikes that create electromagnetic waves that bounce between the Earth's surface and ionosphere, becoming trapped in the atmosphere. So it's caused by the natural electrical activity of the Earth and its atmosphere. So that's all I know about it. What do you think? Like, what were you wanting to ask about it?
You're like, so I just read you what I just learned.
Yeah, that's
The short answer is there's no take on it.
Yeah, but I'm curious, like what you were wanting to ask, or like what about it? So it's essentially the Earth's electromagnetic field.
Do the gateway tapes work to improve your vibration?
Can I talk on that?
Sure.
Are you talking about the Gateway Project, like the CIA things that, before I answer, can you just clarify? Are you talking about the Gateway Project, the CIA papers that were published?
Right. Hmm. Yes.
Yes. Okay, sorry. I have thoughts about it because I've read through that, like literally front to back. I was very interested in it when it came out. My understanding is that honestly it's a little bit of an outdated way to connect. I feel like based off of the results that the CIA had by doing that specific method. Hi, Marmar. I feel like based off of the results that, sorry, it's my little sister. She's my baby. The results that the CIA had, there's not enough there for me. Maybe they'll publish more in the future, but there's just not enough research simply to back up the effectiveness of it when there are so many other things that have plenty of research and backed evidence. I mean, just literal trance states of meditation and sitting in the power and things that we've measured, like brain waves and stuff, like that has so much more research and things backed to it. Not discrediting the CIA because they have done really cool things like with remote viewing and stuff like that. But the Gateway tapes, to personally, my opinion on it, I read through it all like 48 pages or whatever. I wasn't impressed. I wanted more. There was a lot of premises that were assumed without being explained. And I think it just went popular because it's like, the CIA secret tape sort of thing. Yeah, I just think there's simpler, more effective ways to, what did you say, raise vibration or, whatever, raise your power, become more intuitive, etc.
How to learn to meditate to connect in the spirit world if you can't afford a class. If you can't afford a class, if you can potentially afford a book, you can get my book, which is Spirit Speaks, which is basically a class, but in book form, which will give you all the information on how to sit in the power, how to meditate, what you should be doing. And then I also have a meditation audio on my website that you can get for 30 minutes, and then you can just use that and literally just follow along. That is something that, and so I think altogether that's probably $30. So, yeah. Remote viewing is the ability to see or perceive distant places. So using your awareness, quieting the thinking mind, allowing things to pass to you about different images of places, people, whatever the target is.
I guess it's kind of like ESP in a way, right? Like,
it would be a form of ESP, right?
Yeah, like it's not necessarily like psychic reading. You're like using, it's like, it's hard to explain. Like Michael's took a class, like you did the thing right on it. It's like, It almost feels like slightly like you're using a different faculty or like doing something different. It's interesting.
I would still call it psychic for sure. It still
really?
falls into the psychic realm of things. It's just, you're not using necessarily your clairvoyance per se. You are using a different way to access the information, essentially. It's a more embodied sort of thing. You like feel it in some ways.
So would you say ESP and psychic ability are the same thing? We're using the same term?
Yep.
Okay.
Extrasensory perception is just psychism. They just use a different word for it. So psychism.
The
heck is that? Okay. Whoa.
Later.
Remote viewing can it be in dreams, or you think you're dreaming? You can have a sort of dream where you see a place you've never been to before. I wouldn't necessarily call that remote viewing. Remote viewing is something very specific because it's something that you do when you're consciously awake. But that doesn't mean you can't see or experience another place
while dreaming.
It's
kind of like lucid dreaming or astral projecting or something like that. Yeah,
exactly.
How do you learn how to astral project?
A book that I would recommend is called Demystifying the Out-of-Body Experience by Jose Madero, something like that. Is it Monero? I think it's Monero. Ow, you gotta cut your nails. They're so big.
Hey there.
Ow.
When I'm falling asleep, I see people, don't know them. Who might they be? I can think of two possibilities off the top of my head. One is that you're in a weird in-between sleep state and you're just like kind of dreaming, kind of like not hallucinating, but it could just be your mind, right? Like falling asleep. Another possibility is that also because you're in the in-between state of awakened sleep, you might be picking up like psychically or mediumistically on a spirit or something like that. Yeah, those are the two things off the top of my head I can think of.
Yep.
Have you ever ghost hunted? And if so, is it better to not drink before?
I would say so. I would say in general, it's better to have your wits about you. And to be as sensitive as you can. And sometimes alcohol can, at a certain point, start to diminish your awareness. So I wouldn't recommend it. If you're going to do that, I want you to be as clear and focused as you possibly can, is what I would say. Do I know how to do it? I don't know how to do it in the sense that I've been able to do it more than 1.5 times. I say one because I did successfully astral project, but I wasn't trying to. I was learning about it at the time, but I wasn't trying to, and I was able to do it. And the second time I was intentionally trying to, but I could only start to exit my body, and then I would get too excited and I'd start falling back. And then I was exiting, and then I was falling back, and then I was exiting, and I was falling back. And so then I got frustrated and just eventually gave up. So that's what happened there. And I just have never had the patience to try it again. But I would love to astral project again if I can. It's really amazing. It's like essentially what people experience with their out-of-body experiences or near-death experiences. So yeah, it's pretty amazing. I do want to say, while we have everybody here, we are going to be starting on July 12th, Foundations 1. So if you are interested in joining, developing your mediumship, and you want a grounded, practical, evidence-based way of developing your mediumship, go sign up to oakbridgeinstitute.org and sign up for the Foundations 1 series. Definitely need to do that, because it's just about to start and we don't teach it again until next year. So if you were thinking about taking it, now's the time to go on over to oakbridgeinstitute.org and sign up for that. The book is called Demystifying the Out-of-Body Experience. Thank you for continuously sharing mediumship awareness, what it is and what it isn't. Hey, Jay. Aw, miss you. I haven't spoke to you forever. Love you. Your healing is pretty amazing. Thank you. I'm actually going to teach a class on the healing work pretty soon. Is there mentoring options versus classes for people who can't attend the classes during work hours? Yeah, so if you work on the weekends on Saturdays at 10 a.m., then you can always email me at mediummichaelmayo.com or through Oak Bridge Institute, and I'll get it there too, to do mentoring. So I do mentoring and teach the Foundations class. Luis Minero. It's Luis Minero. That's his name.
What'd we say?
I think I said Jose.
You said we said Jose Madera.
It's Luis Minero, I'm pretty sure. But if you just look up Demystifying the Out-of-Body Experience, you'll find it. Okay, we are going to leave it there for tonight. My little hip hurts, so I don't really want to try to read while we're doing that. But I want to say thank you to everybody for being here. We will be back next week with doing readings next time, so yay. But I hope you enjoyed having Miranda here. It's always fun when Miranda joins in, and font of knowledge. But we hope that you have a great evening. And we will see you next week. If you're not following me, do give me a follow. And if you're interested in developing your mediumship, go to oakbridgeinstitute.org and join us. We'll see you.
Join us.
Bye.
Bye.